He said his mother told him from a young age that his ancestors came from China.
It is important to know our past, to know why we are where we are, and then it will serve as a guide for our future.
He expressed his wish to bring the two countries and their peoples even closer.
I guess fate put me here to bring our two countries together.
Regarding Nauru's decision to restore diplomatic relations with China, he said,
One China principle, and that is the cornerstone of our relationship with China.
Exclusive interview with Nauruan President David Adeang on Leaders Talk. Follow his journey to trace his roots in China. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm Zhou Yun. Here we are today in Guangdong Province for an exclusive interview with President David Adeang of Nauru. Last March, just about 2 months after the resumption of diplomatic relations, we spoke to President Adeang during his very first state visit to China. At the end of the interview, he shared with us a secret and a wish. So what was the secret about, and has the wish come true? A year and a half on, what positive changes have taken place in China-Nauru relations and practical cooperation, and looking ahead, how will the two countries continue moving forward together on the path of development? Let's find all these answers from our conversation with him.
For Nauruan President David Adeang, this was a special experience. On July 6, 2025, he arrived in southern China's Guangdong Province with his family, beginning a trip to trace his roots and pay respects to his ancestors.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to China Chaozhou Museum of Overseas Chinese.
Inside the Overseas Chinese Museum, old photographs and cultural relics recount the history of Chinese migration.
I learned a lot today.
You understand the history of overseas China, about
the circumstances in which my ancestors came over to the Pacific.
Yes.
Going to the South Seas, seeking fortune in Gold Mountain. Following the Opium Wars, many bankrupt farmers and unemployed artisans left for distant lands outside China in search of a livelihood.
Oh, right.
Some arrived in places like Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, and Nauru, where they eventually settled and started families. Among them was President Adeang's great-grandfather. Suanjulu in Chikan Town, Kaiping, is one of the ancestral halls of the Situ clan. Here, President Adeang and his delegation held a traditional ceremony to honor his ancestors, in keeping with the customs of overseas Chinese hometowns. In front of the ancestral residence, he planted a banyan tree, symbolizing family prosperity and flourishing generations, and received a meaningful gift, a handful of soil from the ancestral hall. Standing before a genealogical chart detailing the Situ clan's migration, he carefully learned about the family's origins and historical development. Zhongxin Li in Zhongwu Village, Chikan Town, was once home to President Adeang's great-grandfather. Under a large banyan tree at the village entrance, President Adeang sat with local residents, sharing seasonal fruits like lychees and wampis, and chatting about everyday life. It was here at this special time and place that President Adeang gave an exclusive interview to Leaders Talk.
President Adeang, it was such a great pleasure to see you again, and welcome to come back here on Leaders Talk.
Good to see you again, Esther. It's a great moment to be here.
It is. How do you feel right now in this village where actually your great-grandfather has once lived here, right?
It's been a while, and it's quite an emotional, unforgettable, very moving moment. I had some goosebumps coming in on the car ride and seeing all the village out here waiting, smiling, welcoming us.
Yeah. The reason that we are here is because of your connections with this land. Last time during our interview, you shared a personal secret with us. It's about your Chinese heritage and your desire to one day come back and really trace back your Chinese roots. So, Mr. President, if you don't mind, can you share with the viewers a little bit about this secret and story?
Well, when I met President Xi Jinping last year in Beijing on the resumption of our diplomatic relations, I asked him a small personal favor. Mm-hmm. And that was to reconnect me with my ancestral roots here in China. So I am here as his guest, and I wouldn't be here without his assistance and support. President Xi Jinping made very big decisions, assigning all of his government to work as quickly and as efficiently as possible to make this day happen. I am thankful, very grateful to President Xi Jinping for making this possible.
What was your reaction like when you first learned that the origin of your Chinese roots was traced?
Well, I wasn't sure it was going to be possible.
Oh, really?
Because my original ancestors from China migrated from China so many years ago. Right. And I wasn't even particularly sure about their journey or about their story. But with typical efficiency of the Chinese government, they have been very thorough and very efficient in tracing all of my family who came from China and how they made it through Southeast Asia to the Pacific region, where we are now.
Yes. This time you're not only here alone, you brought your major family members here, your kids, your grandkids, and some of the relatives. Why do you believe it is very important for different generations of your family to understand their Chinese roots and to connect with the Chinese heritage?
It is important to know our past, to know why we are where we are, and then it will serve as a guide for our future. And because Nauru and China now enjoy healthy diplomatic relations, it is a wonderful bridge for our two countries to have between them. I think it is a unique honor and a unique privilege for head of state of Nauru to have this wonderful connection with these wonderful people of Shikan village here in China.
So which specific part or memories or experiences that you really hold dear or that are really impressive to you?
Well, understanding the journey that they took out of their homeland here in China, making their way to the our remote region, which is Oceania, to make a livelihood, contribute to those remote places. The journey could not have been easy. To somehow be able to understand that and reconnect with those who still cherish the homeland, you know, it's a special moment. We in Nauru understand the connection that people have with their land, and I admire that very much.
What did you see here in this village or in Jiangmen?
Yes, I see beautiful people, beautiful countryside, people who who have a very strong work ethic, people who love their land so much, who love their country, and who have a very strong sense of community and working together to make things possible.
What specific aspect of your Chinese heritage do you were you're most eager to know during this trip?
Well, I really wanted to understand the circumstances in which my family came from, the circumstances in which they felt they needed to leave their homeland, take very difficult, very long journeys to countries that were really quite remote and also perhaps very difficult places to live. I wanted to understand the spirit and their motivation. And I'm in awe. I'm in awe. I wouldn't say impressed, but I'm in awe of their character that brought them to our region. And I think that's a wonderful story for me and my family to learn from.
Mr. President, you mentioned that this trip, where everything wouldn't happen without the guidance of President Xi. If, let's say, in the future, if you get a chance to meet President Xi again, what would you say to him?
Of course, I need to thank him very much. I hope that I will see him again, of course, in our joint responsibilities looking after our bilateral relations. I owe him a big favor. Well, I don't know how I can repay, but I do owe him a big one.
And earlier today, when you were planting a tree at a Thai ceremony, you were given a bottle of soil.
Yes.
So I guess that's something that you're going to bring back to your country. And besides that, is there something else, some of the spirit, the insights that you gained here that you would like to bring back to your home country and share with your people?
I'm amazed by the transformation. I understand how difficult life was several generations ago, and that's why a lot of the people from this region moved out. But to see the transformation, that's an amazing story in itself. The spirit, the hard work ethics of the Chinese people is a modern day phenomenon that should be, people should try to replicate everywhere else.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
You're watching breaking news on CGTN.
With the latest market-moving headlines from around the world.
Welcome to the world today on CGTN.
"81-year-old Tan Hui-sha is a clan relative of President Adeang on his Chinese side of the family. Although it was their first time meeting and they did not share a common language, President Adeang held her hands tightly throughout the visit. At her home, Adeang and his Chinese relatives exchanged photos and gifts. Their younger family members even started connections on WeChat. After departing Zhongxinli, President Adeang and his delegation traveled to Shenzhen to continue their visit. During this leg of the trip, Leaders Talk continued the interview.
Mr. President, and since now you already discovered that your origin belongs to the big Situ family, when I see you taking this photo, right, with your not only your family and also the extended relatives, so yeah, at that moment, it really is feel that love really goes beyond borders. People in Nauru and China because of this very special bond. How do you feel about that moment?
Yes, the world is not so big anymore. To think that before today, we didn't know each other at all, but now we are going to be communicating by WeChat to keep the families connected. Yes. And my daughter, who will be schooling out of Beijing in a couple of months, she will be responsible for staying connected and bringing the two families closer together.
And I saw you holding the hands of this old lady. She's an extended
we're
relative.
Calling her Granny.
Yeah. Were you excited or touched to see her?
Yes,
and what did you tell her?
Oh, well, it's good to know her. And I hope that they will welcome us back again and again, because we really want to be close to our family on this side of the world.
Both in our conversation this afternoon and just now, you mentioned that you want to come back. You want to bring your families and the younger generation to come back. What kind of, what part of China that are you really interested and have this special bond with?
I guess fate put me here to bring our two countries together. There is a lot that we can learn from China, not just us, the people in Nauru, but the world. Well, I'm the president of Nauru, and I think my job is to learn as much from China as we can, not just to obtain what support that they can give us for development, but just basic values as well, the things that drive the Chinese people to contribute so much to their society, to allow themselves to transform their whole society from in the hundreds of millions out of poverty to one of the most developed countries in the world now. I want to learn about how a people can rise out of such difficulties and become leaders in the world. We are a small country, but I think we may find important lessons in that experience.
And what are some of the insights that you envision incorporating into your work as the president of Nauru, maybe especially enhancing bilateral relations after this trip?
And that is, I think, our mission as two presidents, myself and President Xi, to build bridges between our two governments and our two peoples, to bring us closer and have a common future. And that is also seems to be the world vision that he has for a common future for humankind.
So you really felt this community of shared future for mankind proposed by President Xi from your own experience?
He means what he says. The people who work for him, they share that vision and they work for that vision. That's quite inspirational. Yes. That we're not just talking about a few dozen people. We're talking about 1.4 billion people who believe in that vision, who work towards that vision. That's inspirational. He has the full respect of his people. That allows him to do a lot for China, because 1.4 billion people that he can use to drive China to make it a stronger country.
And yesterday when you were at the museum, the ambassador was introducing the Chinese traditional medicine, the acupuncture to you. And suddenly, I think you know it. You've experienced the Chinese acupuncture,
well, there
right?
was a Chinese traditional medicine team that came to Nauru earlier this year.
Yes.
And I had a very big problem after lifting some weights in the gym. And I had a big problem with one of my ribs. And it got so painful, I couldn't get up properly. But I managed to get to the hospital. And the Chinese lady stuck a few pins in there.
The needles.
The
put it
needles?
In. Yes.
Yeah, and I walked out there just normal.
Oh,
and
really?
I was back in the gym the same day. I don't know what she did, but it was close to a miracle because I was taking painkillers that weren't working for me.
That's amazing.
So yes, I'm encouraging the ambassador to bring over a team that can be stationed permanently in Nauru for the longer term.
It's been about a year and a half since the resumption of the diplomatic relations between China and Nauru. So what do you consider are some of the major progress made throughout the time?
You should come and see for yourself in a few years. China will be transforming Nauru. When I had my bilateral meeting with President Xi last year, we talked about delivering what he called early harvests in our relationship. We will deliver early harvests in the coming years.
I think some of them are already showing or has been...
Yes.
Right?
That's the main one.
Yes, this is one... The ceremony that you attended not long ago is the China-supported sports center.
Yes, that will transform the sporting landscape for Nauru. But they're also completing the new port and also the new solar farm that will take us to 50% renewable.
Right. Well, about this sports center, because I saw some local people say this is not only a groundbreaking for this construction project, it's also, the long-term stream of local people broke ground. And I guess, Mr. President, because you described it as a catalyst for transforming Nauru into a regional sporting powerhouse and also in boosting the well-being of your people. So as the president of Nauru and also an avid sports fan, this must hold special significance to you, right?
Yes, it does, because Nauru has one of the very poorest health statistics in the world. We have some of the highest obesity rates, diabetes, and hypertension as a result of our lifestyle. I see that as a tool for transforming our own society. From a people plagued by lifestyle diseases to maybe people who can be very proud of their new, healthier lifestyle. And that can be a beacon not just for us, but also as a result of our relations with China.
And you have described the climate change as one of the gravest challenge to your people. And this time during your trip, you visited the China PIC Center for Disaster Risk Reduction Cooperation. So based on the insights that you gained here, what potential do you look forward to enhance cooperation with China to deal with those climate change related challenges?
Well, I did see that they have a very good training facility there. And I did also see that they have students from Oceania, they are from Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands and Fiji, but not from Nauru. So we have to improve that.
You want to send your people to study here?
Definitely.
Well, last March, when you met President Xi, he emphasized that treating others on equal footing is the defining feature of China's diplomacy. And now, when you look back on this 1.5 years of resumption of diplomatic ties, so how has your perspective and understanding evolved about President Xi's emphasis on this very distinctive characteristics of China's diplomacy?
Yes, we are treated differently when we come to China than when we visit other big countries around the world. We are treated here in the same way as China treats the biggest countries. They recognize everybody equally. And I think that's a symptom of their experience, having been colonized themselves. Having that colonial experience gives them an insight into how smaller countries feel. And we appreciate that very much.
And now when you look back on this decision to restore diplomatic relations with China, which was based on recognizing and adhering to the One China principle, so how do you reflect the decision made back then?
We made the right decision.
Why is that?
No question about it. Our development and our economic growth has been particularly impressive since we got into a relationship with China, and the economic and development prospects can only improve substantially in the coming, maybe not years, but in the coming months. That is how bullish we feel about our economic relationship with China.
And as we all know that the One China principle is the cornerstone of the diplomatic relation between China and Nauru. So what is your government's plan to continue upholding and adhering to this very important and vital principle moving forward?
We have no issues. We have already committed to the One China principle, and that is the cornerstone of our relationship with China.
Mr. President, as you know, this year marks the 80th anniversary of victory in China's people's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and also the World Anti-Fascist War. And actually, during the World War II, Nauru was occupied and bombed by Japanese forces, and about 1,200 people were forcefully relocated as laborers. And unfortunately, about 400 of them died. So how do you think the trauma by the Japanese occupation has made or has left your country?
The trauma and memories are so deep that we recognized the day they returned from Chuk as the day we celebrated our independence also. It's a very terrible experience during the war. But those who stayed behind in Nauru suffered equally hard because there was no food on the island, and what food was left was only to be consumed by the Japanese soldiers. And our people were left to eat rodents and virtually starve to death. So we thought it should be as important a part of our history to remember also the experiences for those who had to remain on the island and suffer all the hardships there.
How would you evaluate the role of China in the ultimate victory of that war?
Yes, of course. You celebrate 80 years today, and we celebrate next year the 80th anniversary also of when our people returned from Chuk in exile. We all have similar experiences from that we can share and maybe grow from that together.
Okay, Mr. President, or is there something else that you would like to?
No, I already told you that my little secret, and this is it.
It is a great pleasure talking to you again with such a very impressive experience for sharing with us your secrets, your personal insights. And yeah, indeed, it's a great pleasure talking and meeting you again. Thank you.
Thank you all.
During the interview, President Adeang shared the emotional journey behind his trip to trace his ancestral roots and the deep personal meaning it holds for him. He said that despite the geographical distance, history and present-day tie bind the two nations and their people closely together. Looking ahead, President Adeang expressed his firm belief that Nauru stands on the right side of history and that together, the two countries will continue to energize a new chapter of shared development as well as prosperity. With that, we're going to wrap up this edition of Leaders Talk. I'm Zhou Yun reporting from Shenzhen. Thank you for watching and see you next time.